Ashley Workman,
Here.
This call is now being.
Stu Zapsky,
Here.
Laura Freeman Lake,
Here.
Ray Morris,
Here.
Michael Mudge,
Here.
Chris Logston,
Here.
Ed Wenshoff,
Here.
and Brad Nixon.
Here.
All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you. I see Adam Snyder on. Thank you for joining us. And I know we have some folks from the public, and we'll acknowledge you later on in the meeting. So I did want to very gratefully welcome and acknowledge our newest board member representing the Maryland Historic Trust, Chris Logston. Chris and I've had several times that we've chatted about his coming onto the board. I'm very excited that you are in this position, Chris. And if you want a moment just to maybe introduce yourself to your fellow board members.
Sure. Thank you, Colleen. And thank you so much for, I think, golly, at least several meetings where you've really helped to acclimate me to the authority's current projects. As Colleen said, I am acting as a representative for the Maryland Historic Trust. I replaced Al Feldstein on that body after he retired following many years of service to the state. Locally, I mean, golly, a lot of you know me. I practice law. My office is in Frostburg. I also work as president of the Allegheny Museum here in Cumberland. We had a great day at the museum today. The mayor and I joined our volunteer force in getting ready for another season starting April 8th. So a week from tomorrow, we'll be opening our doors again to the public. So look forward to working with you all, truly.
Thanks, Chris. We're very happy to have you. All right. The next order of business is a review of approval of the minutes from our previous meeting of January 27th, 2026. Anybody have any questions about the minutes? All right, then I would entertain a motion that those minutes be approved.
So moved.
Who is that? Just acknowledge yourself. Okay.
Ray Morris. I'll make.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second. It's Laura.
Thank you, Laura. Again, any questions about those? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn this over to Nicole. She'll walk us through the financials, and then we'll have some questions and hopefully approve them. Nicole?
Sure. So for revenue for January and February, we had all tenants were current for January rent payments. We did have one tenant not current for February, but that issue has since been resolved. We did collect parking for January and February over $2,100, and that covers the period of December and January. They're 1 month off. We received $25,000 from MHAA for the interpretive plan portion of the Heritage Area expansion. As I understand it, that was for. Kim or Dee Dee could correct me if that was incorrect. The revenue brought in stands at $78,161.27 for January and February. As far as expenses, payroll had 2 pays in January and February. The majority of the payments were as expected, but we did have our fiber breeze line payment finally caught up with us after a year of having fiber. So we did pay out over $6,500 in January for that. And we did have snow removal payments for $1,350. We also made a payment to GD&F for the 60% design for the river park at $87,452.91. That we will receive a reimbursement from ARC and the county for that payment. So that's a temporary out of our budget and back in. So the regular operating expenses were a total of $250,086.65 for January and February in both general and special funds. Again, the totals for each object code are at the right-hand side of your spreadsheet. So if you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Nicole. Anybody have any questions for Nicole? All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
So moved. Brad Nixon.
Brad, is there a second to that motion?
Second, Stu.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the motion, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, thank you, Nicole. Next on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. We've gone to the process of asking questions, if you have any questions about it, or Dee Dee, if you have anything there that you'd like to point out specifically. Let's start with you, Dee Dee.
Let me unmute. I'm just going to talk about the river park under old business, so I'm good.
Okay, very good. All right, anybody have any questions about the Executive Director's Report? All right. I think, Ed, you're next with the National Park Service report.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about the river park under old business, I'll let Chris update it. We've been reviewing the plan, so we'll hold off till you do that. Just other updates. I'm going to continue to act as superintendent for I don't know how long, and we are doing some work in Old Town. I mentioned for Allegheny County, we're putting in the dock back in Old Town. We have the fishing rodeo coming up there again this summer. We'll be doing some trash cleanup in the areas near Cumberland. We had that on our docket for the spring here, where there had been some encampments on some on our property and some on city property, I believe. So, and I think that's it for the moment until we're still working on sewer cleanup on the lower end of the park. If you see anything on that, we are really making progress there with DC Water, and remediation of the park and cleanup is underway at the other end of the park. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ed. Anybody have any questions for Ed? All right, thank you, Ed. All right, we'll move into old business. The first item on that agenda is the River Park update, and I'm going to turn it over to Dee Dee for that.
All right, thank you. So as everybody knows, we're under an obligation to spend the $6 million earmark fund from State Highway for the trails. That actually has to be obligated, meaning we have to put the project out to bid like in September and authorize the $6 million. Because of the National Environmental Protection Act review period, we weren't able to get the entire trail system reviewed. The only portion that we could get reviewed in time was what is known as the Upper River Levee Trail, and the Levee Trail and the parking lot. So that will be the only thing that we can focus on, like I said, to obligate that $6 million. But we are writing grants to finish the river trail and the connection to the station. Those grants are going to be written in April through transportation again. And I also just submitted will be a total of $200,000 to help try to complete the Riverside Trail. So that's what's going on with the $6 million that we have right now. But it's very important that we get that money obligated and spent, and then just move on to the rest of the project. The industrial dam, as you know, that was ARC funding. Most of it was ARC, well, part of it was ARC funding. We had put the ARC funds into the old portal for ARC, and then they switched over to a new grants portal. So all that information had to be transferred over into the new portal, and that's finally done. And I was hoping we'd hear approval by today, but I haven't heard that yet. And as you all know, we still have, and that's for sediment testing. And as you know, we have the $500,000 earmark that came from our District 6 folks. We haven't actually got that in hand yet, but as soon as we get that and hear about the ARC funds, we will be able to start the sediment testing. So that's what's going on with the river park.
Okay, thanks, Dee Dee. Ed, did you want to, you and or Chris, chime in there?
Yeah, Chris.
Sure. Yeah, I was just going to touch a little bit on the NEPA policy. The National Environmental Preservation Act is a U.S. law requiring federal agencies to assess the environmental impacts of their actions and consider alternatives before we make our decisions. And we're responsible for following this process when we review any proposed actions on our land or resources. It usually involves a lead federal agency that's responsible for the compliance with input from other state and local agencies, landowners, and stakeholders, and often the public. The timeline for this Trails project was made without us being involved, and we're requesting a separate meeting with whomever's leading the compliance effort, and we understand that to be the State Highway Administration in this case. And so we're hoping to work with the Army Corps Maryland Historic Trust, which is the State Historic Preservation Office, and any other agencies that are involved. So we're trying to clarify and make sure that we don't duplicate any efforts, and we want to streamline the regulatory process. So with the review of the 60% trail design plans, we didn't get them until about 2 months after everyone else had them. So we're just reviewing them right now. We had to obtain them directly from GDF, which is the engineering firm, Gwynn, Dobson, and Foreman. And our park team is really having some good comments right now. And so we hope to get those done by the end of the week. And we'll make sure we share them with State Highway Administration, Canal Place, and GDF. But we did receive a special use permit request from Maria Engineers and Consultants this year for the geotechnical boring involved with the project. And we've reviewed it internally. We worked with them on site, and we've approved that a permit. So just going forward, just please make sure we're always included in the review process as early as possible, because we want to try to prevent delays going forward. But as the landowner for a lot of the land in this project, we have to review it from the beginning and be involved with our input. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the update. Anyone else have any comments or questions about? We all know how big of a project this is, that it has 3 phases, that we have the left foot in phase 1, and Dee Dee's, updated us on that. We have the right foot that's inching towards phase 2 of the sediment testing and dam removal. It is a very complicated project, and I think we're learning a lot about processes in this. But we are moving forward, and I have every confidence that this project will be fully built. So I just want to assure everyone's on point on it. So, but would entertain any questions. I'm sure Dee Dee could answer the granular ones. All right. All right, next on the agenda, another big project Canal Place is point on is the Maryland 250 for Allegheny County. I'm going to turn it over to Kim for an update on that.
Kim, you're muted.
How about now?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so yes, we are heading up the countywide event for the Maryland 250, which is going to be a free event for everybody in the county. And it'll be held on Saturday, July 4th from 2 to 10 here at Canal Place. And so we received a $15,000 grant from the Maryland 250 Commission for to hold this event. And we've looped in as many partners and county and local organizations as we could. So it'll involve the depot in Frostburg. It'll involve downtown businesses. And of course, there's still time to get on board if anybody wants to do so. So I'll quickly go through the list of things we have planned right now. And then if you guys have any questions, you can ask. So we will be planting and dedicating the Liberty Tree, which I'm sure everybody's heard about. There's Liberty Tree being planted in every county in Maryland. So we will be planting ours that day. We'll have DNR, National Park Service, Champ Zumbrun, and others here to do that for us. The Western Maryland Scenic Railroad is going to be running a Freedom Train to the depot, and we have asked Al Feldstein to narrate the history of the area on that trip. So he will be doing that for us. We're doing a burial of a time capsule. We've invited all of the schools to participate by providing something to be placed in the time capsule, as well as many of our local partners we've asked to provide something to put into the time capsule. We have a art and photo competition that's currently open. I'm gonna ask you guys that if you know of any of the art teachers in the school systems, I'm struggling to get information to them. So if you know any of them, please send them my way. I've done press releases, I've done radio spots, but I don't know that it's reaching them. So if you know anybody, please send them to our website. The information is there. We've partnered with the Allegheny Arts Council to do a public art piece. So we're going to have a 10-foot by 10-foot art piece that's sketched down here on the at Canal Place, and then people will paint it as the day goes on. We'll have a finished photo for people to look at, and hopefully when it's done, it'll be something that we can keep here on display at Canal Place. We're going to have a beer garden featuring Old German, Natty Bow. We're going to highlight our brewing history with information panels about our brewing history. We'll have commemorative cups, live entertainment throughout the day with Appalachian and folk music, some native dance, patriotic music, fireside chats with historians, and we've invited all the municipalities to display, set up, and share their history specific to their municipalities. And I'm working on an antique bike display with Larry Brock. That's kind of a tentative thing. I don't have that really locked down yet. But with all that being said, I need volunteers. So Colleen has graciously offered, and Ray has offered. I definitely would really like to have board members help at the beer garden, because that's the only place where we're going to be taking money. So I would appreciate any help there. I do have lots of posters available here. So if anybody has not received a poster in their area, let me know and I will get you one. Or if you know somebody else that needs one, let me know. We have plenty of them. And I think that's it.
Okay, I think Ashley had her hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Colleen, Kim, I'll follow up with you, but you can send flyers home with every student in the Board of Education. My kids get them. I'll send you the contact there. I don't believe there's a cost. I think you just have to provide a quantity minimum. So you would have to print the flyers and deliver them.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I knew that I could do that. I was trying to talk directly to the art teachers, but yeah, I reached out to Jeff Avery numerous times and haven't had any luck. So that's going to have to be my next step.
Yeah. So the last thing is the appeal for volunteers.
Yeah.
It's a, and I would encourage anybody who does have some time available. I know it's a holiday, 4th of July. But if you do, please get in touch with Kim, and even if it's for an hour or so, I think it would be very helpful. And maybe each of us can reach out to others we know, even if we're not able to. And we should get in touch with you, Kim, if we have names of other people.
Yep, you can email me, call me. You can give my email to other folks if they want to reach out to me directly. That's fine.
Okay, very good. All right. Anybody have any questions for Kim? Sounds like a wonderful event. Let's hope for good weather.
Yeah.
All right, no other questions. The next item on our agenda are the board committees. So you will recall at our last meeting, we talked about board committees. We've actually talked about this a few times in the past few months. And the only committee that is named in our current bylaws is the exec committee. I'll get to that in a moment. But we did have a conversation at the last meeting, and as I recall, the board agreed that 4 working committees would be reflective of the body of work of Canal Place, and those committees are the Grants Committee, the Heritage Area Committee, the Real Estate Committee, and the River Park Committee. So let me talk about 3 of those. We have 3 chairs, 3 board members have come forward to say that they agreed to chair those committees. Michael Mudge has agreed to chair the Grants Committee. Thank you, Michael. Laura Freeman-Legge has agreed to chair the Heritage Area Committee. Thank you, Laura. And Stu, once again, is going to be chairing the Real Estate Committee. The bylaws are clear about the committees in terms of membership. Every committee of the board has to have a member of the board as its chair, such is why it was important that those 3 people came forward to align themselves with those committees. Any committee can have as many people on it as you would like, and they don't have to be board members. So members of the community can join the committees. And I'm going to ask each of those 3 committees if those chairs want to say anything, but let me talk a little bit about the River Park Committee. As I mentioned before, it's extremely complicated. Dee Dee gave an update on where we are. At this point, it would be my preference that we get to the point where we know a little bit more about, in particular, phase 1, and that earmark. If there's a lot to get through with that to get to that point. And where I see a board committee with other community members on it is probably down the road a couple of months to the point where that kind of community input is going to be valuable. Now, I could be wrong, and I would love to be challenged on that. But we have 3 committees that need some work to get launched. We have a river park that is complicated and trying to get through a very critical phase 1, requiring a lot of technical review. And again, it's my preference, can certainly have a conversation about it, is to hold off a few months on really organizing a river park committee that would engage the public. So I'd like to maybe open it up for some conversation from the board on the River Park Committee, and then I'm going to ask each of the committee chairs of the other committees to say just a couple of words. So, conversation about the River Park Committee.
Colleen, I'll say this. I think you're right about the River Park committee is something that needs to be somebody that has a good amount of time that they can put into it. And I think that's the difficult part for a board like this, is finding somebody that has the time and to a certain extent, the ability to handle the technical knowledge that's going to come in. But I think you're exactly right to wait a couple months and then sort of figure out how the board can best handle something like that.
Thank you, Ray. This is not the one and only time we're going to come to this conversation for sure. This is a multi-year, and we can certainly have this conversation at our next board meeting in May. But I would like to at least give everyone an opportunity to chime in at this point.
This is Brad, what Ray said.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we can revisit that. If anyone has anything else they want to say before the end of the meeting, please, let me know and share your comments. At this point, I'd like to just go to the 3 committees where we have committee chairs, ask if there's any updates that those folks would like to share. And I'm going to start with you, Michael, with the Grants Committee.
Yep. Thank you, Colleen. This is Michael Mudge. I am the chair of the Grants Committee. We are entering our busy season for us. Right now, as we speak, the applications are coming into MHAA that of the different groups applying for capital and non-capital grants. Today is actually the due date for the full applications. There'll be a few day delay as the heritage area receives those applications. And once we receive those, I believe starting Friday is when our committee will be able to meet. And the goal is to meet 2 times between now and the 12th, which is when we need to finalize our priority lists and get those sent in. So we are entering into our time of action, and I look forward to being able to have our meetings.
Okay, thank you, Michael, and thanks for stepping up to chair that committee. Laura, anything on the heritage area?
Yeah, so since we're just starting, we'll need some committee members. So if anybody has any community members that they think would be beneficial to this committee, send them my way. Or if you yourself are interested, send me an email. I'm working with the municipalities. I'm speaking at the town of Lonacone's next public meeting and Westernport next Monday to talk about the comprehensive plans and what needs to go into it for the expansion to happen. So that's kind of my focus right now, because that's probably going to take the longest, and to get the public input and everything from the municipal side. So.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Yeah, it's, the expansion creates lots of opportunities and some new processes that need to be executed upon. So I appreciate it's a big job. We appreciate you doing it. And Stu, Real Estate Committee.
Nothing additional at this time. Thanks, Colleen. However, I am identifying a few people that will probably be beneficial for that committee, but I will run that by you before we make any recommendations.
Okay, thanks, Stu. All right. Next order of business is the new members of the Grants Review Panel. Kim, I think you're on for that.
Sure. So we lost a couple members of our grant review panel. Ruth Davis Rogers, who moved into a different position. Al left the board. There are a couple vacancies that we needed to fill. So we reached out to Courtney McKay, who has applied for our grants before. She's received our grants. She's well-versed with grants. She's well-versed in the heritage area. And we reached out to Lynn Ketterman, who was suggested by Colleen. And again, familiar with grants and all of the stuff that goes with that. Both of those ladies were more than happy to volunteer some time to the panel. So they're both on board and have kind of been, briefed on what will be asked of them. and are just basically waiting in the wings for some dates for meetings and grant information. So the full committee would consist of Courtney McKay, Lynn Ketterman, Sandy Seville, Mike Mudge, and Deidre Robertson, and then myself and Dee Dee are non-voting there for coordination and guidance. So that's the full committee.
Yeah, that sounds like a good committee.
Yes.
Good, very good. All right, any questions of Kim on that, or Michael, that's your committee as well? All right, sounds like it's moving forward. Thank you. All right, on to new business, and first order of business is voting on a vice chair. So we have not had a vice chair since Becky Rupert resigned her position. I've had conversations with a couple of folks about the role of vice chair, what's expected, and have a wonderful candidate to propose to the rest of the board. It'll take your approval, and that candidate is Brad Nixon, who's agreed to serve in that role. So I'm not going to put you on the spot, Brad. I don't know if I arm twisted you. I think Brad is obviously seasoned, lots of experience on this board, lots of experience in the community. I'm looking forward to working with you. So what I would like to do is call for a motion to approve Brad's candidacy in the role of vice chair.
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion?
Ray Morris, I'll second that.
Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. Congratulations, Brad. And thank you very much.
Thank you. I wasn't sure which way Stu was going with that vote.
Yeah. I put him on remote, so he couldn't vote no on that one. I'm very happy to have you on board, Brad. All right, and the next order of business is the exec committee. As I mentioned before, it's the only committee that's named in our bylaws. It takes a chair, a vice chair, and it takes a third person to create the exec committee. And again, I've had a couple of conversations with some of you about serving on the exec committee, and Michael Mudge actually volunteered, had some really wonderful conversations with you, Michael, about that. So the exec committee will be Brad, Michael, and myself. What I've proposed to both of them is that we would have a standing meeting probably same time as this meeting on the odd months that the board doesn't meet. That way we don't forget it. It will be in our calendars. The way I generally operate is if there's nothing for us to discuss, I will simply say there's no need for a meeting. So, but happy to have an exec committee. I think it'll be very helpful to us. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Brad. Next order of business is ratification of the three-year action plan. I know we took an email vote. I know people voted about that. I've always been a little unclear why we ratify, but Adam Snyder, who I have great faith in, tells me it's a necessary step, and so we're going to do that. Is there a motion to ratify the three-year action plan?
So moved. This is Laura.
Is there a second to that?
Ray, I'll go ahead and second it.
All right, thank you. Any questions on that? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Colleen, I abstain.
Yep. All right, motion passes. It is ratified. I think the next item on the agenda is the Five Rivers Metro Parks bus trip. Kim, goes back to you.
Yes. Okay, so we have planned a bus trip to Five Rivers Metro Park, which is in Dayton, Ohio. The reason for that is just to offer community members the opportunity to see a finished product. So the hope is to take people to Five Rivers, which is the actual river park that our park was modeled after, and let them see it in person and hopefully create some excitement around it. So it is planned for Friday, June 5th. We will use Bowman Charters to take that trip. The bus will leave here, Canal Place at 6 a.m. and will return at midnight. So we will arrive at Dayton around noon. We'll have a catered lunch. Then the folks of Riverscape, they're going to provide us a tour. And we're working with them to really, cater that tour to exactly what we think our community members want to hear. So a lot of economic impacts, a lot of, they built the Riverscape and then everything that was built around it after. We want to make sure people hear about that. So we're working with the people at Dayton who have been incredible to work with. And they're excited to have us up there. So we'll be up there, have the tour, and then folks will have about 4 hours to just explore. They have a lot of things around that Riverscape. So I don't think 4 hours is really going to be a problem. We'll be selling 50 seats. That'll sell the bus out. And you can register for tickets on our website. We partnered with the Chamber of Commerce again, who graciously helped us out because we didn't have the capacity yet to take online payments. So they worked with us to help us out with that. So we thank them for that. So yeah, please tell people that you think should go and that you think would want to see that. Please tell them to get online and get a ticket.
Kim, how much are the tickets?
$130, and that will be your trip, the tour, and lunch. And then the bus will stop for breakfast and stop for dinner, but that's not included, just lunch.
Anyone have any questions? All right. Thank you, Kim. I think the last order of business are a series of mini grants that we need to vote on. The first one is a fiscal year 26 mini grant for the FSU library system in the amount of $4,106.41. Does anybody have any questions on this? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve that.
Ray Morris, I'll motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Stu.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
It's Brad, I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. All right, the motion passes. Second is a fiscal year 26 mini grant for the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad for the Maryland 250 marketing and commemorative memorabilia in the amount of $2,825. Anybody have any questions on this grant application? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Brad.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second, Mike.
Mike? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
I have to abstain.
Got it. All right, that motion passes. Third one is fiscal year 26 mini grant for the Allegheny County Farmers Market for marketing and promotional materials in the amount of $4,000. Anyone have any questions on this? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve that grant.
So moved, Ray.
Ready? A second to the motion?
Second, Brad.
Brad? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. All right, before we go into public comment, if there's anybody that wants to make one from the public, our next meeting is May 26th. That happens to be kind of that bookend of Memorial Day weekend. I wanted to make everyone aware of that. Does anybody foresee any issues with meeting the Tuesday after Memorial Day?
I won't be able to be there because it's the town of Westernport's election day.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to note that. We need 5 for a quorum, so that's why I just wanted to put it out there, see if anyone else had any issues that we may have to think about a different date, but. All right. Okay, thank you for that. All right, public comment. And anybody in the public who's on the call that would like to make any comments or ask any questions? And I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to depend on somebody else to help me. Nobody, Kim? Do you see anyone? No?
No.
All right, it's going once. Going twice. All right. I'm going to declare the meeting adjourned at 2:13 p.m. Thank you very much. If we don't see you before, we'll see you in May.
We need a motion and votes on that. It's not on
To adjourn?
to adjourn.
Okay, it's not on my little cheat sheet, so
I know.
I only follow my cheat sheet. So next time we'll put that on the cheat sheet, all right? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Ray.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Okay.
Okay. All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
No abstentions. It's now 2:14. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in May.
Mm.